Hi everybody, friend Cassady with Cassady Online LLC. This morning I would like to do a presentation on starting an LLC and how it is so applicable now to IMers and small business owners and even affiliates who um, are online every day because of the valuable protection that it affords, as well as tax advantages, as well as significant credibility that it adds to your name and to your brand. But basically, wanted to start with an introduction. I'm Fran Cassady. I started online 6 years ago. I retired from a major telco in 2008. And I've been blogging now for several years. My blog is frassadies.com. I blog in the health and fitness niche and in the make money online niche. And after I retired, I worked for 2 years volunteering for agencies within my Elk River, Minnesota area. And but I wanted to get back into the action, you might say. Um, Probably tough being without a paycheck for a couple of years. But so I started Cassady Online LLC. So I understand that how that works, and I think it's important for people working online to get that legal piece down pat for themselves. I think it'll help them in the three ways that I had mentioned. Um, so with that, I can tell you that I promote Carrot Bars and World Profit, both excellent organizations and platforms to promote. And my blog, fraslays.com, and I have castnethosting.com, a services, online services site as well that I offer services to people. So, with that information and that introduction, let's take it right into the LLC presentation. Legal structures protect you and your business. The main reason people form LLCs is to avoid personal liability for the depths of a business they own or are involved in. By forming an LLC, only the LLC is liable for the debts and liabilities incurred by the business, not the owners or the managers. However, the limited liability provided by an LLC is not perfect, and in some cases depends on what state law applies to your LLC. Generally, your LLC's creditors can go after your LLC's bank accounts and other property, but they can't touch your personal property, such as personal bank accounts, home, or car. To create an LLC, you need to file articles of organization with the LLC part of your state government that is usually part of the Secretary of State's office. And so if you Google Secretary of State for your state, you can get the URL and go right in there and request that information. And it sounds complicated, but it really is not. It's really quite simple, laid out very easily for um, small business owners and, of course, other larger businesses to um, file. But continuing on, LLC will protect owners from personal liability for any wrongdoing committed by the co-owners or employees of an LLC during the course of business. There can be personal liability for your own actions in the case of negligence, tax fraud, illegalities, or reckless activities. LLC must be treated as a separate legal entity. And that's all pretty straightforward, really, that particular assertion about LLCs. Filing fees range from $100 to $800. You can form an LLC with a single person in every state of the union. I think in Minnesota it was very at the low end of that range that I had given you. I think it was like 150. So it is not expensive to for the filing fees. Most states supply an article of organization form on which you need to provide basic details about your LLC, like the name, address, and contact information of the owner for the LLC. If you have members, you'll be required to list their names and addresses on that articles of organization. In addition to filing articles of organization, you must create a written LLC operating agreement. If you have members, specifying their rights, responsibility, and ownership percentage. And so for the small business owner, that may not be applicable. Take a look at this. Okay, I set a PDF on this particular presentation, and it is kind of a long one here to give to you. Kind of, I can set the PDF after the presentation, after the video presentation. Remember, you need to go through the office of the Secretary of State when forming your LLC. So that's keep that in mind, Secretary of State for your specific state. You have to fill out the articles of organization and submit a filing fee. If you have an online company, do the work for you, which I actually had made the mistake of. You'll still have to get the forms, fill them out, and submit the filing fee. And so they can do a minimal amount of work for you and charge you a kind of a big fee, and you still wind up doing the filing fee. You have to. Because you're the owner of the business. generally what these companies will do is they'll send you maybe some forms, and they'll send you some help on starting a company with like a checklist and several things that you can obviously do on your own, and charge you a hefty sum for doing it. So don't get pulled into that kind of a action. You really want to do it yourself if you go through the LLC process. And the state of Minnesota has a website from which you can get most of the forms you'll need to submit your LLC application. And I suspect that most of the states, with their Secretary of State, has a site from which you can pull LLC application forms. The point here is that if you are thinking about becoming an LLC for your tax and protection advantages, be sure to think about the mechanics of doing the filing yourself, and that relates to what I had just told you about the many companies that will want to work with you on filing the LLC for you, but you wind up filing, you have to, as owner, fill out the forms, get the forms, and so do not be persuaded by online companies that want to do the work for you. Some of the help companies charge way too much to help you with this online business activity, which I just have been going through. I'll also give you an important site called NOLO, NOLO. From this page, you can start the administrative work for an LLC anywhere in the U.S., and that NOLO site, www.nolo.com, to get in there. I think there's like a $49 help fee on that. So it does offer some significant help and can push you on your way. However, my advice would be to do the work yourself. Keep in mind that Novo is a site that helps small business owners, and it's a do-it-yourself legal guide site. A do-it-yourself legal guide site. Go right to the online form and click the pull down and click your state. Just be sure you understand most of the legal ramifications of the LLC from your state before you apply. And they're not that hard to figure out. They're straightforward. They're commonsensical. So keep that in mind. Another important site is the U.S. government SBA, and that would be www.sba.gov. And then from there, you can go into LLC, Content LLC. LLC taxes, an LLC is not a separate tax entity. A small online bid for a small online business, so the LLC business itself is not taxed. The federal income taxes are passed on to the LLC member and are paid through the member's personal income tax on Form 1040. So they obviously the government makes it very easy to file um, taxes for an LLC. It's done right within your normal tax filing on the 1040. LLCs must file as a corporation, partnership, or sole proprietorship on their tax return. LLCs that wish to not be classified as the default tax entity can choose their business entity classification. Small business owners would obviously choose a sole proprietorship. I'm not sure about obviously, but they would have to choose. Most of the people that I work with online are one man, one woman shops, so they would probably choose a sole proprietorship. To elect a classification, an LLC must file Form 8832. This form is also used if an LLC wishes to change its classification status. You should file the following tax forms depending on your LLC classification. Single member is the 1040 Schedule C, a sole proprietor. Partners in LLC must file a 1065, and a corporation an 1120. And like I said, it can sound complicated, but it's relatively simple for a sole proprietorship. Has the designation the IRS uses for one owner LLC. So you basically attach a Schedule C to your 1040, and you're on your way for the sole proprietorship for the small business owner. Keep in mind this article is for information on the subject only. Be sure to consult your tax expert or lawyer for relevant legal advice. And that would be ethics is knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and what is right to do. Very wise statement there. If you need paid advertising, be sure to visit my site, startyourownbusiness.com, and I will leave you a link. It is for advertising from World Profit. And don't forget, they've got 2 million members, and they're very, very high in Alexa, and a highly touted platform. So the advertising, the paid advertising, is very effective and efficient. Efficient from the standpoint that the owner knows and understands efficiency. And that would be George Koch as the owner of World Profit. And that would be the end of the presentation. Like I said, I'll leave you the link for the paid advertising, which everybody can use. Be sure to go in there and order your advertising from World Profit. It is significant advertising. Like I said, there's you get a steady flow of visitors every day with unlimited campaigns, and there is no cap on the amount of traffic you receive. And it is relatively inexpensive for the amount of people on World Profit. 2.5 million people associated with World Profit. So with that little advert at the end, I'm going to call it an afternoon, Fran Cassady with Cassady Online LLC, wishing you uh, the best with your business. Have a great day.